On this episode of Terrier Nation, Mason Jablonski will update us on men's soccer, Bobby Serafin will catch us up on women's soccer, and we'll hear from men's soccer goalie Francesco Montali with Allison DeWitt.
Belle Frazier and Monet Oda will give us a look at the men's ice hockey season so far. Kyle Finn and Jessica Lamb will provide their thoughts on women's ice hockey, and Brooke Alessi will fill us in on field hockey, and Cyan Lee will give us a glimpse into cross country.
All this and more tonight on Terrier Nation.
Good evening and welcome back to Terrier Nation. I'm your host, Mason Jablonski.
And I'm Brooke Alessi. The regular fall season of men's and women's soccer is coming to a conclusion as they're working toward taking home the Patriot League Championship. Here's Mason Jablonski with men's soccer.
The Boston University men's soccer team is playoff bound, clinching a Patriot League tournament berth in their matchup against Lehigh University on October 29th. The Terriers defeated the Lehigh Mountain Hawks 2-0, completing their 8th shutout win of the season and extending their unbeaten streak in conference play to 7 games. An invigorated defensive effort saw the Terriers hold the Mountain Hawks to just 6 shot attempts, en route to securing a spot in the conference tournament for the first time since 2018. BU also logged their first home win against Lehigh since 2013. In celebration of senior night, BU honored seniors Gianluca Arlotti, Liam Cullen, and graduate student Evan Morrison prior to kickoff. After the final game of their regular season, the Terriers clinched the 2 seed in the Patriot League tournament, granting them a quarterfinal bye. BU will make its first semifinal appearance since 2017, hosting the game at home on November 8th.
Our very own Allison DeWitt met up with goalkeeper Francesco Montali to talk about the incredible season he's having.
What's up, Terrier Nation? I'm Allison DeWitt here with senior soccer goalkeeper Francesco Montali to discuss the season, the upcoming playoffs, and his plans for the future. All right, Francesco, many people grow up playing soccer. When did you start playing, and how did you really decide you were going to play in college?
So growing up, I am the youngest of 4 siblings, so I was always around sports growing up. I've got 2 older brothers and an older sister, so I was always thrown in net as the youngest sibling. I loved it. I was loved diving around, getting dirty. My mom obviously didn't love that, but my brothers did because they had someone to shoot on, and I just relished it. My sister also played goalkeeper growing up, and then I saw her as a big inspiration, and then I played a little bit on the field and in goal, and then once I got to 11 or 12, I was no one else wanted to play in goal, and the coach was if you want to stay in, and I was please let me stay in. So that's kind of how it all started.
All right, and you had a pretty epic save last week against Lehigh. What goes through your head when you're preparing for a penalty kick?
Yeah, I've actually been asked that a lot by my teammates this week. When you're facing a penalty right away, I mean, everyone was asking me, was I looking at the coaches because they were telling me which way to go, or if I was looking at players. I kind of get into this zone where I just kind of black out. I don't really see much. It feels like I watch it back on video and it feels like it takes forever, but in reality it's a 10-second build-up from the whistle to the take. I kind of just try and make myself be as big as possible. I try and be intimidating. As a person, I'm not at all, but I try to be on the field. So yeah, I just try and be big and make a play, really.
Your team is ranked 2nd in the Patriot League. How are you preparing for the playoffs?
Yeah, finishing 2nd is huge. Getting home field advantage is something that we really pushed for. Knowing how well our team plays at Nickerson, knowing that we'll have our home fans. You get to sleep in your own bed the night before. And we practice on the field every day, so home field advantage is huge. So we know that our team is going to have to come in here and try to beat us on our home field. Yeah, home field advantage just means a lot to us, and hopefully that we can host a final after, but we just got to focus one game at a time, win the semifinal, and see what happens from there.
You're a senior this year. Do you have any plans for playing soccer after you graduate?
Yes, 100%. I plan to play professionally. That's the goal. It's always been my dream. But not without, I've got 1 more year of eligibility, so I'll be taking a 5th year. I'll be back next fall. Hopefully we can have the same or more success as we have this year.
Okay, and I guess lastly, given that you're planning on playing professionally after you graduate, what are you doing to make sure you're always improving and staying on top of your game?
Yeah, that's a constant conversation with my coaching staff. They know that, I've always got to keep myself accountable. I try to do my best at that, but sometimes if I'm slacking off or I've got a day where, things aren't feeling right, I've always told my coaches that if there ever seems a time that I'm not, myself or on my game, that to push me, because I always need an extra push, and I've always responded well to, a slight nudge in the right direction. I feel like no matter your personality, everyone needs that at a time. So they know that, I know that, and it's really just about accountability from, teammates as well, but mostly the coaching staff and myself.
All right, well, thank you for joining us here today, Francesco. We wish you and your team good luck in the playoffs.
Thanks, Allison. The BU men's soccer team will play November 8th at Nickerson Field in the Patriot League semifinals. Now let's check in with Bobby Serafin from women's soccer.
Thanks, Brooke. The Boston University women's soccer team finished the regular season in devastating style. They hosted Army West Point last Wednesday for a game that would decide the Patriot League title. Despite an action-packed back-and-forth contest, BU ultimately came up short, conceding with just 38 seconds to go to give the Black Knights their first regular season title since 2015. The game-winning goal didn't come without controversy, as the goal scorer Kaylin Bradley looked to be slightly offside before slotting home the winner. The Terriers only needed a draw to finish atop the conference after second-place Bucknell drew with Lehigh just minutes before the BU Army game ended. BU came into the night in pole position to take their 15th regular season title, but had to settle for third place in the Patriot League after failing to repeat as regular season champs. The Terriers, without a first-round bye, didn't let their motivation falter as they soundly defeated the 6th-seeded Loyola Maryland Greyhounds 3-0 at Nickerson Field last Sunday, getting goals from sophomore Eileen Solomon and juniors Abigail McNulty and Lily Matthews. BU now travels to Lewisburg, PA for the Patriot League semifinal against Bucknell, the team that crushed Terrier dreams last year in the conference final. Now it's BU's chance to return the favor as they seek revenge against the Bisons. With the game currently underway, the Terriers look to get back at the championship game for the 7th time in the last 10 years. We wish both our men's and women's soccer teams the best of luck as they compete for the Patriot League championships. Let's throw it over to Jessica Lamb and Kyle Finn on women's ice hockey.
Thanks, Bobby. The BU women's ice hockey team had a rough start this season, currently sitting at 8th in Hockey East standings with 2 wins and 4 losses.
They dropped a back-to-back home and away series against Boston College. They then went on the road to another back-to-back home and away series against Merrimack. The first game against Merrimack was away on October 28th. The game started with the Terriers having a 2-1 lead at the end of the first period, but that lead was quickly erased. Merrimack went on to score 4 more goals, leading to a 5-2 loss for the Terriers. Their last game was against Merrimack on October 29th at Walter Brown. The Terriers particularly excelled in the game as they won 5-2, with 2 goals by senior Julian Nears and 1 goal each by graduate student Jesse DeVito, junior Andy Calderoni, and freshman Sydney Healy.
In that game, the Terriers gained 14 points from 5 goals and 9 assists, all of which are their highest stats of the season thus far. With that being said, overall the team has been averaging 2.5 goals per game, with an average of 28.1 shots per game. BU's shot percentage has been 8.9% as opposed to our opponents at 8.1%. Furthermore, we have had a total of 237 saves as opposed to our opponents with 205. The Terriers will soon be going up next against Providence College, ranked 3rd in Hockey East, in a 2-game home and away series, with the home game being played on Friday, November 4th at 7 p.m. We wish them the best of luck and are looking forward to another win. Belle Frazier and Monet Oda will bring us the newest on men's ice hockey.
Thanks, Jessica. The Terrier men's ice hockey team split their home-and-home weekend series against the University of Massachusetts Lowell. They traveled to the Tsongas Center on Friday, but came just short, losing the game 2-1 before returning to ComAv on Saturday for an avenging 2-1 win of their own. I'm Monet Oda. She's Belle Fraser. Belle, tell us about how it all went down.
Despite the loss on Friday, the Terriers showcased some good hockey. It ultimately came down to small mistakes that shifted the tide of the night. Freshman forward Devin Kaplan was sent off for a 5-minute major for boarding in the second period, which allowed the Riverhawks to get on the score sheet first with a power play goal. In a game that tight, the first tally begins to hold a lot of weight. BU has been a bit undisciplined with their penalty taking this season and has cost them in the win column. Not to say the major was the sole reason for the loss, but it's an area the group needs to tighten up to be able to compete at their highest level. Saturday's contest at Agganis Arena had the same intensity with an emphasis on physicality and little room for error. It was a top-tier showing of college hockey with both teams playing a grinding game. The freshman line of Jeremy Wilmer, Ryan Green, and Quinn Hudson had one of their best performances of the season. The Terriers entered the third period down a goal once again, but freshman defenseman Lane Hudson tied it up late in the closing frame and was also the overtime hero. His skill level is really exciting to watch as he quickly becomes a leader on the BU bench.
Absolutely. Hudson looked like he was rocking it all night, walking that blue line, breaking some ankles. What a game he had. Now, these two games were super tight, both 2-1 decisions, with one of them coming in overtime, but the Terriers played well on both nights. Hockey East is getting better and better, and we can expect conference games to be that much more competitive moving forward. With some massive weekends coming up back-to-back against UMass Amherst and Northeastern, these Terriers have got to go in with a mindset that they have very little room for error, because that's exactly right. The Terriers have to be ready from minute 1 of game 1, but unfortunately right now, they've fallen into a rhythm of losing that first game to rally back in the second. So Belle, what are your thoughts on this pattern at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, Monet, it's interesting because the Terrier team this year seems to have a different energy and more determination under new head coach Jay Pandolfo, but they still haven't pushed themselves over the edge to complete a weekend sweep. It all comes down to playing the full 60 minutes right, and in these first games, it takes the Terriers a couple minutes to get going after the puck drop. I think these consistent weekend splits would be more concerning if the compete level wasn't there for the losses, but that's just not the case.
I agree. This is a very good hockey club, but they haven't shown us great consistently yet, right? This isn't to say anyone's been unprepared for any game the Terriers have played so far, but hopefully as the season progresses, they're able to collect more film, study a bit more, and really get used to their opponent's style of play before they even step foot on the ice. We've still got a whole season to go, so I guess we'll see how the Terriers develop from here. Switching gears now, we've got some good news for the week to go over. Drew's back. Yes, that's right. The Terriers finally have Drew Commesso back in net. Vinny Duplessis held down the fort for 4 straight games in Comesso's absence due to a lower body injury, but Commesso made a comeback in Saturday night's game. A fine result for his return to the lineup, I'd say.
For sure. And another particularly bright spot through these first few weeks that we mentioned earlier has been the freshmen who have absolutely shined for their squad so far. In their collegiate debuts, 4 of the 5 freshmen in the lineup scored at least 1 goal, the first of their college careers. 3 freshmen collected 3 points and 2 tallied 2 points. Since then, Ryan Green was named Hockey East Rookie of the Week, Quinn Hudson scored a hat trick, and just this past Saturday, Lane Hudson scored both the game-tying and game-winning overtime goal to cement himself as first star of the night and Hockey East Rookie of the Week. While the Terriers are a very veteran team this year, their young guys still have really been carrying their weight.
Definitely a great start for these first years. The Terriers are in a bye week right now, so hopefully the team is able to use their time off to rest, recover, and for the freshmen in particular, keep this streak of stellar play going against the UMass Minutemen next week. That's all the time we have for men's ice hockey today. Thanks so much for joining us. Back to you, Mason and Brooke.
Thanks, Belle and Monet. The BU cross-country teams racked up some incredible showings this season, including impressive finishes at the Patriot League Championships.
We'll throw it over to Cyan Lee for more on cross-country.
Thanks, Brooke. With the cross-country season coming to an end and the teams are moving on to the playoffs, both the women's and the men's BU cross-country teams finished in 3rd in the Patriot League Championship on October 29th. All 10 Patriot League programs compete in the championships with the team score determined by each squad's top 5 finishers. All 5 are BU scoring runners on the men's team finished in the top 25 in the 8K competition. The women's team's leading runner was junior Daisy Littlegreen, finishing 2nd in the women's 6K race with a time of 20 minutes and 42 seconds. In addition to that, 4 of our top 5 finishers in the women's race finished in the top 20. Both teams will be at the NCAA Regional Championship on November 11th at Van Cortlandt Park, New York. Back to you, Brooke and Mason.
Thanks, Cyan. The BU field hockey team has absolutely dominated the Patriot League this year. With an incredible season in the books, here's Brooke Alessi on the BU field hockey team and their unmatched conference play.
With goals from junior Tess Shaka and sophomore player of the year Payne Anderson in a 2-1 win over Bucknell, the Lady Terriers continued their dominance in the Patriot League, earning their 6th title in 8 years, ending their season with an overall record of 9-8. The ladies matched a program record with 6 All-Patriot League honorees. Congrats to Talia Steensons, Caroline Kelly, Rachel Borzamowski, Tess Shaka, Martu Kulo, and Peyton Anderson. The Patriot League tournament began on November 3rd, and for the second time this week, the Lady Terriers came out on top against Bucknell. Freshman sensation Martu Kulo scored the lone goal of the game. The Terriers move on to the finals on November 5th. Good luck from all of us here at Terrier Nation.
That's all we have time for tonight on Terrier Nation. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter for the latest Terrier sports updates. I'm Mason Jablonski.
And I'm Brooke Alessi. From all of us here at Terrier Nation, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.